Hey you guys, it's Britt. Tonight we're here to talk about this story that is coming out of the UK regarding a 15-year-old black girl who was strip searched at school. They thought that she had drugs on her and she was strip searched. There needs to be a content warning, a trigger warning placed in the beginning of this video only because I know that talking about this can be upsetting to some people. So if you are not able to, please click off of the video. It is all good. But if you are in a position where you would like to learn more about this, please keep watching. All right, you guys, so once in a while a story I will come across and I just have to share it with you, even though it's sad and traumatic and upsetting. I think that it opens up a wider conversation and it can also shine light on some of these things that just aren't talked about a lot of times on YouTube. Not saying that I'm the only one talking about it. Don't get the wrong idea there, but these things are upsetting and it's hard to cover and it's hard to have a conversation around some of these things, but it's really important to me, and that's why I'm bringing it to you guys so that we can continue to talk about it. And this is such a bad example of what sending your child to school could look like. It's very, very scary. So it starts out by saying a black schoolgirl who was strip searched by Metropolitan police officers at her school has said that she was so traumatized by the incident, she had been left wanting to scream, shout, cry, or just give up every day. The 15-year-old girl, who was menstruating at the time, was targeted at her school in Hackney, East London, over unfounded suspicions that she had cannabis. A council report found that racism had likely been a factor in her treatment. And I don't know how you could deny that. That's pretty obvious very early on. The Guardian understands that 3 Met officers who were placed under investigation by the police watchdog over the incident in December 2020 remain on full duties. The Met has apologized for the girl's treatment. She released a statement through her family's solicitor on Wednesday describing her pain. Someone walked into the school where I was supposed to feel safe, took me away from the people who were supposed to protect me, and stripped me naked while I was on my period, she said. I can't go a single day without wanting to scream, cry, shout, or just give up. I don't know if I'm going to feel normal again, but I do know this can't happen to anyone else ever again. The mother of the girl, only known as Child Q, said her daughter had been treated as a criminal while at school and that she had feared that she had been done permanent harm. Absolutely. I can't imagine going through this at 15 years old. And when you think of the fact that she was also on her period, that's an age where you feel like, your body's going through all of these changes. It can be confusing and sad and worrisome at times. And to have this happen, there's 2 places that a child should feel safe: at home and at school. There should be no doubt whatsoever that when your child is either at home or at school, that either you or family or, whatever are watching over them at home. And when they go to school, the administration, the teachers, and the other staff are keeping your child safe. And her school completely failed this girl in multiple different ways. Nobody was there to protect her. It goes on to say, she said, professionals treated her as an adult. She was searched as an adult. Is it because of her skin, her hair? Why her? My daughter is a changed person. We try to reassure her, but looking to the future, we can't say she will ever recover. The family's solicitor, Chantel Dulcie, said that race was likely a factor. I would almost say it's guaranteed that it was a factor, without a doubt. It is unlikely that Child Q would have been treated in this humiliating way and degrading way had she not been black. Child Q and her family are hopeful that the recommendations of the review panel will be carefully considered and implemented so that another child is not exposed to a similar traumatic experience. The family statement revealed that searches of the child's bag, blazer, scarf, and shoes yielded nothing of note. before she was strip searched without an appropriate adult being present. Where were all the teachers during this? Where were the other administration staff to say, what's going on here? Like, why do you think that she has, drugs on her? Why are you taking her away to go search her? Don't get me wrong. I was obviously in high school at one point in time. And I remember one time there was the school, like truancy officer or whatever, came in with the principal of our school and searched a student's backpack in the classroom. He wasn't taken out into the hall. He wasn't taken, into a bathroom or anything like that. They just searched his bag because they thought that he had something in there that he shouldn't. They didn't find anything and they left. Ridiculous. The incident has triggered outrage and disbelief, with the Labor frontbencher Jess Phillips likening the treatment to child abuse. The case is being investigated by the Independent Office for Police Conduct, the IOPC, which has issued notices to 3 officers saying they're under investigation for potential disciplinary offenses over how the girl was treated. A report by Hackney Council said racism was likely to have been a factor and described the episode as humiliating, traumatizing, and utterly shocking. Phillips, the Shadow Minister for Domestic Violence and Safeguarding, described the case as awful, adding, "I cannot for one second imagine why any of these professionals thought this was in any way acceptable. Remember what it was like to be 15? This seems as if it was designated to humiliate and show power, the act of an abuser." I feel so bad for this girl. The Labor MP, Belle Ribeiro Addy, said on Twitter, the Met have apologized to a child they strip searched after wrongly suspecting her of carrying cannabis while it's on her period without an adult present. And why wasn't the girl's mother called? That's what I want to know. When did she literally leave school and then she talked to her mom when she got home? That's what I'm still trying to pinpoint. What exactly happened afterwards? Without wholesale reform of the way that the Met engages with the Black community, this apology is just reputation management. That's usually a lot of apologies that come out after these heinous, cowardly acts are to save reputation, to save face, to try to avoid a lawsuit. The whole thing is a sham. A spokesperson for Black Lives Matter UK said, once again, we are reminded of the fact that police are the perpetrators and there are no lengths they won't go to inflict harm on vulnerable people. The horrific strip search of a Black girl at school is a clear example of why police should not be in places of education. While politicians have recently called for more police officers to be stationed in schools across the capital, children are being traumatized in spaces they should be safe. And while I know that this doesn't apply to every police officer at every school, I'm sure that there are many who are doing a really great job and the students love them and they protect the kids and it's just a really happy union. But unfortunately, there are bad eggs. And when you're talking about a bad egg, it would be one thing if it was some sort of slip up where nobody was hurt and it was nothing that was really even paid a whole lot of attention to. But those situations are so few and far between. Typically, people get hurt. People are traumatized. These types of things have lasting impacts on these kids. And that's why it's a larger conversation. The Hackney Council report said the child was made to bend over, spread her legs, and use her hands to spread her buttocks while coughing. She is now in therapy and self-harming, according to family members' statements to the inquiry. It said, having considered the context of the incident, the views of those engaged in the review, and the impact felt by child Q and her family, racism, whether deliberate or not, was likely to have been an influencing factor in the decision to undertake a strip search. The school was visited by 4 officers, including 2 women who carried out the search of the girl. Her mother was not contacted. See, this is not acceptable. You have a minor girl who, for no reason at all, you're thinking that she has drugs on her or in her bag or, whatever they thought. Pure speculation. no proof, no nothing, and you're going to search her and you're not even going to contact her parent, her guardian, her grandma. What in the hell is going on here? Unbelievable. The child's maternal aunt said her niece had turned from a happy-go-lucky girl to a timid recluse who hardly spoke to her. And they also list some phone numbers for support. Of course, I will link those I will list them in my description box. The story just really hit me as soon as I saw it kind of circulating. I knew I wanted to share it with you guys. I don't know the answer. I don't know the answer, but I think the conversation can be really powerful. And talking about things like this and getting them circulating and allowing people to not forget that things like this happen, to hopefully at one point in time implement some changes so that things like this don't happen. One change that could be easily done across the board is, one thing should be that you're not allowed to initiate a search of a student under the age of 18, because most kids in school are still under 18, until their parent has been contacted. And I'm not talking about contacted and you leave a voicemail or you send a text or a random email. I'm talking about you have a conversation with that parent and the parent can be present for this search. Let's be honest, you guys, like, most kids are not going to school with drugs. Okay? Like, I know that it happens, but most kids are not going to be running around with drugs in their pockets. Like, again, I realize that it happens once in a while, but it is so few and far between. And even for those kids that might be in that position, their parents still need to be present before a search is initiated. And that would be something very easy to do across the board. And if the officers initiate a search and, like this, the parent wasn't contacted, then they are in breach of their agreement and there's a massive lawsuit and the police officers are let go. You know, get out, get off of the force if you expect people to follow rules and you don't follow them yourself. How about that? But I'm just really tired of hearing about kids not being in safe hands when they're in school. There's no reason for it. Like I said, kids should, without a doubt, feel safe at home and they should feel safe at school. There is no need for any child to have to worry about this happening to them, or any parent to have to worry about this happening to their child, or a sibling worried about this happening to their sister or brother or whatever. There's just zero excuse for it, and I'm so disgusted. So at this point in time, I'm going to link this down below. Keep the conversation going. If you have people that you think would be interested in reading this story, like, share it far and wide. Things like this need to be talked about. So that's what we're doing today. But either way, for now, if you like the video, please leave a like and a comment. And if you'd like to see more from me in the future, please subscribe. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.